Let's bring Breck in Chris Stirewalt. And Chris, just stick with that for a second. $40 million just so far this year in legal bills.
Well, look, this would be, well, first of all, wouldn't you like to be making the profits that the partners in those firms are taking in from Donald Trump? The sums are astonishing, especially given the relative quality of the work in many of the cases. And of course, Trump has cycled through and burned through a bunch of different lawyers.
We're not even in trial yet, Chris. I mean, this is just, we're just early on in discovery in some of these cases.
But Trump knows it's not his money, and Trump knows that he will have basically an unlimited supply of other people's money with which to do this. So he obviously doesn't care too much about that stuff. And, you know, the funny thing, for Trump's critics who say, look at this, Ron DeSantis' campaign has been talking about, you know, the grift of this and that he took people for a ride about claiming the election was stolen and all of those things. Trump doesn't have a bunch of big dollar donors who are giving money because they believe in him. Any big dollar donations that come into Trump come from people who are trying to be in his good graces and gain his favor by throwing around some cash and showing that they support him. This is overwhelmingly money from grassroots kind of supporters who love, I'm sure, the idea that they are helping Donald Trump fight back against the deep state, which is victimizing him. And the more Trump plays the victim, the more his most ardent small dollar donors like it.
And in the meantime, we've got polls out today that show that despite or maybe because of all of those legal battles, Trump is dominating in the race for the GOP nomination. The closest competitor, Ron DeSantis, trails by 37 points. And even more surprising, a Marquette Law School poll shows 50% of Republicans don't even believe Trump had classified documents in his possession, even though Trump himself has actually said publicly he did.
But when respondents are answering those polls, both about what they think Trump did or did not do, or who they pick in the Republican nominating process, many of them are not hearing, well, I'm making a rational choice about who the best candidate for the party will be in 2024, and do I like this or do I like that? Trump manages to, and by the way, Democrats help Trump do this, reduce everything to, are you with Trump or are you against Trump? That binary construct. So when pollsters ask people, who do you want? Are you going to side with Donald Trump, the hero of MAGA America, or are you going to side with Joe Biden and the deep state? Who are you siding with here? And Trump's ability to force people into that binary Manichaean way of thinking helps him enormously against candidates who are saying, well, but maybe we ought to think differently, or maybe there's a better strategic choice to make for next year. Trump says, I am under siege, I'm fighting for you. And for Trump, always the worse the better. The worse the charges against him get, the more effulgent the wrongdoing becomes, the more obvious it is to those core supporters that everything he said is true. The deep state really is coming after him. Just look at all the charges.
Well, thanks so much for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.